Hi, I'm Uncle Bear, and you are watching 5 Minutes with Uncle Bear. And I am incredibly sad and filled with grief from the Orlando shootings that happened this Sunday. I am queer. I have always been queer. I'm one of those creatures that have always known that I was not one of these things is not like the other, and that was me. Every time there is a shooting, there's violence against human beings in this country, I feel messed up. I feel impacted by it. This particular one cuts a little closer to home because I could have been in that club. I don't like to go out to clubs so much anymore, but certainly on Pride, yeah, it could have been me. And it could have been so many people that I love. So it gets closer. And of course, unfortunately, when it's closer, you react more. And I have reacted. I've reacted with the police brutality against people of color. I have reacted to the drone strikes. I have reacted to all the people that I hear who suffer. I've reacted to this because I got a big, empathetic heart that feels way too much of the world, way too much of the time. And you know what? I numb myself out too. I do. Because feeling all that is hard. It is hard work. And I frankly don't have the stamina to feel it all the time. And that is a luxury. It is a privilege that I get to check out. And I know this because there are people on this planet who very rarely get to check out. That probably the only checking out they have in some way is when they sleep. Hypervigilance is a real problem. I know from my own life. Hypervigilance, when I go out into the world, I've gotten to the point now where I go out into the world and I feel pretty safe-ish. I don't feel safe, but I feel safe-ish. I feel safer than I did when I was a younger queer creature in the world. But there's this vigilance that's going on all the time. And if you're queer, if you're a woman, if you're a person of color in this country, let alone all these other categories, you know what I'm talking about. And here's the problem, that fear is in the people that use the violence too. That's the craziness, is that the people who are using violence feel that fear as well. They feel threatened. And from that threat, they do the thing that your old brain, your reptilian brain says, fight, flight, or freeze. So, what a big problem is right now is that we have a hardware that's developed so long ago that is not adequate to deal with the world as it is now. We have hardware in our brains that when something threatens us, whether it's a real threat or if it's something in our minds, we want to fight, we want to run, or we want to freeze. How effective are those three things for these not immediate physical threats? I mean, believe me, those people who died in that club, they were under real threat that was immediate. And you know what? We are all under real threat that might not be in this particular now, but it is pervasive. And here's the other thing, your beautiful brain, of course, goes towards that which is negative because the negative stuff was the stuff that you needed to know not to do or to avoid back in the day and today. So that person who used violence on Sunday, on some level, for whatever reason, felt incredibly threatened and then used a lot of violence to make that threat go away. And the cost is tremendous. It always is. The cost of violence is so huge. That's the thing that I don't know if we really get. We think about it in money terms sometimes, but the cost of violence is a humanity that is not able to be its best self. And that needs to change. So I don't have any great solution for you, but this is the thing I do know. When I feel this threat, I'm at the point now where at some point, sometimes not immediately, I will realize, oh, I'm feeling threatened. And I do my best not to act out in a way that harms others or myself. And this has been repetition over a long history of dealing with threat. And I'm not perfect, and I never will be, but I'm better at not dealing with that threat in ways that are awful. So, we need to grow up as a species. We need to evolve as a species. It's time. There is more good in the world than bad. Please understand that your bias that there's more bad in the world is because your brain goes towards the negative. In reality, there's infinitely more good in the world. This world is gorgeous and beautiful and complicated. And it's worthy of you doing your work to grow up a little bit more within yourself. You will not get to some utopian place by the time you die. Maybe you will, I don't know, but more than likely you won't. You will get to a better place. And through this, you can connect with others that are so not like you. Through this ability to handle yourself, you can build bridges. You can maybe connect a little bit more so that someone feels your life within them. And you can maybe choose better about what you do with all your feelings. I am so happy to be queer. I am so happy to be alive. I am so happy that I am growing, even if it's small. And I ask you to join me. To join you, I don't know. What is that? I ask you to join me in this process. Thank you.